President Donald Trump has signed an executive order.
The U.S. president has dropped the tariff bomb.
Nifty already below 24,700 points.
This past week showed us that it's now President Donald Trump's economy. But the bad news is that we've started to see signs that the economy isn't going necessarily as the president intended.
Mr. President.
Bombshell after bombshell, that seems to be Donald Trump's strategy to deal with everything. Whether it is the Israel-Iran war, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, or the American economy, his moves, the tariffs, the crackdown on migrants' colleges, and the American economy are only boosted by the yes men he surrounds himself with. And now, the US president wants the world to play ball, but only by his rules. He has refused to heed logic or reason, seemingly acting based on his gut, and peddled dubious claims.
Let's see if there's inflation. Right now, there's no inflation. Everybody thought there would be. All we have is billions of dollars of cash pouring into our country from other countries that took advantage of us for many, many years.
Despite elevated uncertainty, the economy is in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has been running somewhat above our 2% longer-run objective.
In just July, Donald Trump kick-started a possible trade war with allies including India and almost half the world represented by the BRICS.
Up until very recently, it seemed that both sides felt they were making a lot of progress. And then quite close to the August 1st deadline that the president had set, not just for India, but for other trading partners, the president announced that India would be facing a 25% tariff.
Eu estou saindo daqui completa porque eu vou me reunir ali para defender outra soberania, a soberania do povo brasileiro em função das medidas anunciadas pelo presidente dos Estados Unidos.
Here's why Donald Trump's tariffs do not make sense. If you were to buy a Big Mac in Washington, it would cost you around $7 or over 600 Indian rupees. The same, creatively renamed Maharaja Mac, costs less than $3 or around 250 rupees in New Delhi. This is a very simplistic understanding of the Big Mac index or the purchasing power parity, but it is very important to understand when looking at how America is treating its allies and the whole world. For developing nations, dollar trade is anyway a disadvantage, but it keeps the American economy afloat.
India's had a market that's been pretty much closed to American products, and we've been wide open to theirs. And I think President Trump is frustrated with the progress we've made with India, but feels that a 25% tariff will address and remedy the situation in a way that's good for the American people. And then they might reconsider their practices, which have led to this higher rate. And over time, I would guess that Indian firms will be onshoring production in the U.S., and Indians might even open their markets more to us.
All Trump is doing now is making anyone pay for even threatening dollar dominance. It is his biggest insecurity, and thus his attack on the BRICS bloc itself. But beyond that, do tariffs make sense? Here's what the experts say.
Well, I think what is likely to happen because of the additional tariffs combined with the much weaker than anticipated employment report, that August once again will likely post a decline for the S&P 500. While the global trade as a result of these tariffs will likely end up slowing down. Yes, inflation will pick up initially, but then on a year-over-year basis will not continue to climb. But it will likely put pressure on the U.S. consumer, which represents about 70% of our economy.
And it will increase the price on an average basis when these are fully implemented, and that takes time. But they will increase the average price of imports purchased by American by probably around 15%. That's a pretty big increase, and that will show up in inflation later this year. So I think we're headed for a slower period of economic growth and maybe even some drop, some small, a little bit of recession. Not a big recession, but small recession.
Here's where things get far more interesting, though. Donald Trump had promised a hyper boost to the economy of biblical magnitude. Instead, his crackdown on immigrants threatens to wreck the few existing American industries, including agriculture. He is making the same Americans pay for his jet gifted by Qatar. He has managed to get a major critic shut shop, flip-flopped on Putin, talked of buying Palestine, tried to tell the independent Federal Reserve what to do, and gutted agencies that worked for citizens. He is openly facing dissent for Supreme Court judges. His core voter base now questions him on unfulfilled promises ranging from Epstein files to the economy. His bestie, the awkward Elon, has opened a front against him. One of the most loud-mouthed advocates of Trumpism, Marjorie Taylor Greene, now questions him, while even Republican senators rip into his team made up of unqualified TV personalities. Donald Trump is facing a crisis of faith from Red America, a crisis of dissent from the rest of America, to say nothing of the global crises he is seemingly ready to fund, including a massive concentration camp in Palestine, which he has pitched as a conclave where Gazans can live peacefully.
On this vote, the yeas are 24 and the nays are 73, and the motion is not agreed to.
U.S. taxpayers have spent many billions of dollars in support of the racist, extremist Netanyahu government. Enough is enough.
Instead of punishing Israel, the criminal aggressor that is committing genocide and collective punishment and starvation of the Palestinian people, Trump's administration is punishing the victims, the Palestinians.
He slams Netanyahu, threatens Canada, pokes India, deals with Pakistan, skimps around China, and is staging Europe as the next arms race continent again.
Donald Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. He broke that promise. Trump should stop hiding from the truth. He should stop hiding from the American people. So today, Senate Democrats took action. We're invoking federal law and using our authority as a check on the executive to compel transparency.
But his biggest fight is in America. Following up on the July drama, the US president just fired an official, seemingly because he did not like the data. He claimed the official had been making mistakes, but when asked if other officials should fear for their jobs, here's what Trump had to say.
If any government official going forward is presenting data or information you don't like, should they fear for their job?
We need people that we can trust. I mean, your question is a very good one. We need people we can trust.